guys, so today I'm going to be doing my December wrap up. I actually read quite a bit in December. I didn't think that I would do, what with it being kind of crazy, getting ready for Christmas and everything, but I actually did read quite a lot. I read 9 books, but a lot of them were really kind of short or light books that I read like one a day of. I had a wonderful Christmas. I hope that everyone that celebrated Christmas had a nice Christmas, or whatever you did for that week. I hope that you had a great time. I spent Christmas with my family like I do every year. I wake up, I actually wake up at like 9 o'clock, not an early riser, and I opened presents with my mum and my brother at home. So I opened presents from my mum, from my brother, and from my friends. And then we go to my grandparents' house and have Christmas dinner and open presents from each other there as well. I had a wonderful day. I hope you guys did, like I said, and also I hope you had a great New Year. I think I've said that in another video as well, but you get it twice. So yeah, here's everything that I read in December. The first book that I read in December was The Peculiar by Stephen Bachman. This is a middle grade book, and I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I think what happened with this book were that my expectations were a little too high. I was dying to read it, and then I read it and it didn't meet them. I loved the unique character names. I thought Stephen Bachman named his characters really well. I loved the name Bartholomew Kettle and Arthur Jellyby, and I think it's Mr. Licorice. So I loved that aspect of it, but for me this book was far too slow. I myself am, I'm 20 years old. I can, trudge through it, but I think for this book's intended middle grade audience, it doesn't get going quick enough. I think a lot of younger readers would give up on this before the story really kicks in. The last 100 pages were amazing and I loved that, and I would definitely check out the sequel, because I think now that so much of this intricate world is set up, it's set in an alternate Bath in London, where there are changelings, and it's really interesting, but it just took far too long to set up. But now that all that's done and there's a cliffhanger at the end, and the end was so action-packed, I think the second book will get going straight away and I'd really enjoy it, so I will definitely check out the sequel. But for me, this only got 3 out of 5. The next book that I read in December was The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This had been on my shelf for over a year and I just felt pulled to read it. I've felt that way for a little while now, but I thought a book about magic would be a really great atmospheric read for December. I absolutely loved this book. It was amazing. The setting of the circus was phenomenal. It's such a beautiful setting. The characters themselves were great. This circus has basically been developed for 2 illusionists to battle it out, and they don't realise it's really a battle to the end. One of them has to win and the other one will die, but they fall in love, and it's a really beautiful story. My only criticism of it was the romance. While I liked that part of it, they didn't know each other for like the first third of the book. They didn't really communicate, or Cecilia didn't even know who her opponent actually was. She didn't know his identity. Then suddenly there's this forbidden love, and it springs really out of nowhere. I think if that had developed a little bit more, it would have been a little bit better. They just suddenly loved each other. I just felt that part of it was a little too unbelievable, but I still loved it. I gave it 5 out of 5. It's such a beautiful, and it's a very unique book. As I was reading it, I didn't feel like I'd read anything else quite like it. I mean, it's just amazing, and there are some parts that are written like directly to the reader, and she writes it as if it's you walking through the circus. So like you enter the tent, and it really does put you in the circus. You experience it in a different way. So you end up like smelling the caramel, and it's really, really beautifully done. I definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't already. I was kind of intimidated by it because a lot of the reviews say it's highly descriptive. It is descriptive, but I wouldn't say it's like highly descriptive. It's not too intense or anything. It's just really beautifully done, and you should definitely check it out. For the cover, if nothing else, it's beautiful. And the end pages have these hats and clock there. And I will say, everything that you see on the cover is relevant. Everything plays a part in the story, and it's amazing. Definitely check that out. The next few books I read were kind of, I don't know why I picked these up. Well, I raided my mum's bookshelf because it was a few days before Christmas, and I wanted something that I could just pick up, read really quickly and put it down. I didn't have to think too difficult, think too hard about, God, I've lost it. Think too hard about it. I could just pick it up, read, put it down, and didn't have to be too invested in it. So I picked up a couple of her Diana Palmer books, and I picked these up because I remember on holiday about 5 years ago, my mum was reading a Diana Palmer book, and I picked it up, read it, and absolutely loved it. These books were not as good as that one that I read, which was a little bit of a shame, but I'm not disheartened. I read Merciless by Diana Palmer. It's in this bind up. I didn't read the second book because that's by someone else. I didn't read that. I only read the first one. And it was good. I think I gave it like 3 out of 5. It was a really, really quick light read, which is exactly what I wanted. Just a quick romance read, really. And then I picked up the second Diana Palmer book. It's called Christmas Cowboy, but it's 3 stories in one. I thought, great, I wanted to read some Christmas books because I don't have very many Christmas themed books, but only the third book had anything to do with Christmas, and even then it was really, really quick. So this is split up into 3 books, and they are Will of Steel, Winter Roses, and Now and Forever. The first one I really enjoyed. I gave that one 3 out of 5. It wasn't perfect. There were some things I didn't like, but I still enjoyed it. The second one, Winter Roses, was my favourite of the 3, and I gave it 4 out of 5. And the third book, Now and Forever, I only gave 2 out of 5. I really, really didn't like it. How the 2 people end up together is beyond me. They're both insufferable, and he's just a big bully. I really, really didn't like the third story. The next book that I read was Dash and Lily's Book of Dares by Rachel Cohen and David Levithan, and I didn't like this either. I had a lot of issues with this book. I have done a review of it, so I will leave that below. But my problems with this book are that I felt like the writing style and the characters were far too pretentious and unbelievable. Lily is just so immature for a supposed 16-year-old. My family would not let me go gallivanting around with a notebook doing all these dares and potentially meeting a guy, some random guy, that you didn't know. I thought safeguarding was kind of completely forgotten in this book. It just was not for me. I was expecting a really light, cute, contemporary holiday romance that I could just read and fall in love with, and I didn't get that at all. I just didn't get a Christmassy feel from this book at all, despite it being set through the Christmas period up till New Year. I didn't feel that at all. I just found it really boring. I had to force myself to read it. So yeah, this one only got 1.5 out of 5 for me. It really wasn't for me at all. And the last book that I read in December was a Nora Roberts book. And this is, oh, you can't really see that very well. This is Christmas Magic, and this is a bind up of 2 books as well. All I Want for Christmas and This Magic Moment. This Magic Moment didn't really have anything to do with Christmas, so I don't really know why it's in here, apart from it being about a magician, but that's not really Christmassy. All I Want for Christmas was really short. It was only 120 pages, but it was really sweet. It's about 2 twin boys that wish for a mum for Christmas for their dad, and that was really sweet. It was probably my favourite of the 2. And This Magic Moment was all about a magician and a producer. They get together. They were really sweet. They were much better than the Diana Palmer books that I read. So I gave this one a 4 out of 5. It was really sweet, and it was a really good way to end December. So that was everything I read in December. I did get quite a bit read. It was quite a month of duds for me. I've not rated books, like so many books, so averagely for quite a while. It feels kind of strange. So that's everything that I read. I hope you guys had a wonderful December, like I've already said several times. So happy reading, guys.